If you know anything about this, you'll see these ones, the ones we see, they are the IRS. And this is how to see the way we see when we see the IRS and how to keep a book and how they like it to be the way we see. It is exactly how we count these things that we see in it that they would not see. And this way we see they were who we were and they know exactly what we were. When before we were a way we see, they were it who that we don't see a way, and now they are a way we see it. This isn't something that has escaped many minds. They know what we are, they know what we were, and they will be what we are. And I don't know how to say this, but there is no way this was something legal at some point in time. I don't know how anyone can see this way and not, but they know exactly what I see it, and they know that I should not have to report it. They know that I don't ever report this to anyone on any sphere, and any way we see and how this is and how many cars I get. They know exactly what that is. They know exactly who that was, and they see a way we see Cometicus, the Ferricer, the Laticida Monicus, the Quinicant, Oaked, or sometimes Plicapic, Oaked. You don't guess this, but there are many ways we see in this it's like how much do you buy clothing? Or how much do you spend on food? And when you think about it, these are things that target the NA in a very specific way. And we don't want that because they know what we see. And we have gone to great lengths and extraneous efforts to make it so they can't see who we were. If you know what this is the way we see it. And this is the one where he goes and he fights this knight. And this knight isn't any good. And this is the way we see the IRS. And it's a very good way we see it. It's not a good way. And you know exactly what it is, and this is the way we see it. This one in particular took a long time to develop because it was very hard to make it at first. And then they saw this is just like a Mario Brothers game. We just doing some extra stuff, and they go, okay, let's do it like that. And you know what? It was perfect, just like that. And they thought this is award-winning. So this game went on to sell a few copies, and that's not natural for games like this, but this one was popular, and I know they don't see what I see when I see this, but it isn't important because I know exactly what it was, and they don't have to because I know that the few that do will be making the important play. If you know what I'm saying when I see this way, you will see exactly what it was. There aren't any money in the way they see a way we see it, and yet for this one, they see a way I see how many cars I get. If you in any way count this 2 times, there are 2 guys in the NA that do a lot of cars, and they will say like 400, and they will know who it was. And this is the exact reason I've been going on forever about why I don't have to allow them to see what I see when I see. And they said, how important is it that he knows these 2 guys? And he says, well, these 2 guys know who a lot of people are, and they have access to documents. And I said, I shouldn't have told you that. And they knew exactly what it was since that day, that they knew, that I knew, that they knew, that they knew, that they should not see this way I see it. Some of the other stuff we've done about these have appeared in other games. It's not important, but you understand. They just were like, hey, let's use that guy. And they're like, yeah, go ahead. And everyone sees. And it's another way we see it. When we saw this one way, we see it before way. This one here we talk about Babylonians, or if you prefer, Abalone, which is an abalone, which is a fruit of the sea. And we see this one way and we go, well, you know what? The Babylonians are who we were, but they've changed it so they are what we say. And it says we are some way they were a way, and now it's not who we were. And they know exactly what it was. And we saw this, oh man, were we upset. I'll tell you what, we weren't even into the Bible that much at first. When we see it, we just go, yeah, it's okay, it's a pretty good book, whatever, you know. We'll go to the church, this is okay, you know, everything's fine. And you know what we found out? It was exactly who it was. And they are who, and then this one is inside of it in this way I can't quite describe. That it is broken off inside of it and gone back on itself, and this was a 2-time travel too. And we know that this is the one because he can't see who we were anymore some way. So what it is they knew a way we see it, and it was to G this, and they would see that, and then it would be who they were. And I saw this, and I go, you know what, he's going to do it at this point. So we were prepared for this point, and that didn't come. And we said, you know what, how about we prepare all along the path, we just get ready for the big jump off. And it won't be the big jump off anymore, because we'll see it coming, and then we'll transfall it. And he said, okay, yeah, that's fine, I just don't like that mood. He's like, no, no, no. See, here's the thing. We know, and they don't have to. And we will just keep it this way. And it's always, we just lose a couple, and there's always a couple more to come by. And he said, we'll refill our ranks in no time. It's nothing to fear, and we see this way. And we did this for a long time. We didn't see anyway. We knew exactly what they were before we see. And I'll tell you what, man, they never knew exactly what we were when we see away, but they are exactly what we see when we don't see away. This one in particular, it describes how we talk in a sound that's not key and we see away. Basically, they're saying that we are what they were, which is the ones who do not have a hit. And we knew this already, and it was because we were who they were before away. And they said, you know what? They have decided to change it up, and now they're going to be what we were before we were away. He says, yeah, how did they get this to be like this? And I was wondering for the longest time how it was like this, and it's not. And I go, it is like this, but it's not the Farney. It was actually like this. And you know what they did? They switched it in a way that I hadn't seen before because they had seen it before too. And I go, there is something very much afoot here. So we're watching it, and we're going over all these topics from this company, and we go, you know what? It's these guys right here. They are the only ones that don't know what we were away when we see the way we see it, and now they want to know exactly what we were when we have these things like cars and trucks and things like that. And he goes, yeah, well, I mean, what are we going to do about it? We can't see them because they aren't the way we see it. And this one, he is the only one out of all these people that has any idea what we do when we don't see these ways, and we don't go see the way, and we don't have this. When we use this exact facility, he sees it. They go, yeah, he was the one whom we worry about. And if you know anything about that, you know exactly what they were talking about. This guy here, he is who they sit. And I know this is what the one they saw. And it didn't work out because they knew what it was before we see it. And I said, he can't possibly be that. And they know it, and that's the entire point, is that they knew that he couldn't be it. So what had happened at this point in time is that we're looking back on it, and we're going forward, and we're trying to figure out where we are in the space things. We go, time isn't important. And they go, yeah, time isn't important. It's just events that happen over a series of periods, looking back in this small window, and they go, and it's misspelled, and it's changed, and it's switched around. And we go, well, who is it? Who are we? And we said, here it is. There's the one we see. And we go, okay, guy. And you know, when we put him on there, everyone was quite pleased because he finally had a gig that we see. And this is the funniest meme in the world, because this guy here, he showed up like he was ready for porn and everything, and we were like, yeah, dude, you gotta do all that. And we just put him in front of the shit, and he was ready to go, and it was nothing. And we're like, yeah, there you go, that's it. And he was like, wow, that's it, I don't have to sign or anything? So now you can go now. And he walked out of there like he had been worshipped or something, and said it was weird. So anyways, we saw this one, and he saw this, and he was like, yeah, you know what? I have one too, and I'm going to insert it there at the end. It's going to look a little bit different, but you'll see it. It won't be important. So they're looking at this for a long time, and they go, you know what? This guy here, he doesn't see what we see when we see these ways. And he goes, yeah, is this the one he was talking about? I said, no, he's going to make one for the other one, and it's going to be a classic. He said, because nobody's going to play this. And he says, yes, that's my entire point. They won't ever see it coming, and that's the entire point. And so they were looking at this, and they go, what is it? And he goes, yeah, well, I see it. And this guy here, for some reason, nobody picks this one up, and it's just him. And no, it's because they know this one. This is because it's like the other one, and they just see it. It'll be eventually popular, but right now it's just not selling that well because the other one is still selling good, and they couldn't believe it. So it was a long time in. They're like, well, they're selling the same now, and I don't even know what to say. They like the first one, the second one, that was good, and then they like the second one, the first one's not as good, and it's still the same way. And they were looking at it like, it's weird, and somebody said, you know what? This one is actually doing pretty well. And they go, yeah, I can't believe it's actually doing as well as it is. See, here's the thing. This is one of the few games that we actually did a TV spot for. And when it came on, they're like, you know what? This is pretty good. This looks right. And so all of a sudden, someone's coming in like, yeah, let's do this Nintendo thing. I'm ready to do it. And we didn't know who this guy was. And I saw it right away. Like, this guy is trying to infiltrate us. And so we brought him around back, and we made him to go to this different office that none of us ever go to. We'd show up in a blue moon. He's there like, oh, I'm selling this. And we never saw him again. We told him, yeah, well, we're broke right now, so you can't even see us this way. So here's what happens. We get this guy, and we take him to this planet. And one time, and he goes like, hey, what are you guys up to for this? And we didn't tell him we're going to the Ark, but he knew. I knew he knew. He was just trying to get it out of us like, oh, we just let people have information. Well, here's the thing. I mean, he eventually showed up, and everyone knew it was him, even though he was trying to say he was just a different guy they see. So we're there watching this guy, and this guy's exactly who you you guys don't understand it anyway, that this guy named Macaulay, he was from Kunafini Kanaka, and we don't even know them, and that somehow they knew exactly who we were and everything. So it goes, this guy's a goobag, and they go, yeah, he's a fucking goobag. And so we're looking at him because he just knew too much. He saw stuff before it happened. So here's the thing. We're watching this guy for a long time, and we go, you know, he's watching us, so we shouldn't be watching him. And they did this thing where they didn't watch each other for a while. And you know what? It worked because they think that we're just going around with the program. We're just doing all these things like we're supposed to be doing now. So it took a long time, and I go, you know what? This thing about the Babylonians is still bothering me because they are trying to make it so that they are who we were at this point in time. And I can't figure out where. And then we finally get it, and it's like a bad thing. And they go, you know what? And then they went back, and I said, why would they do this again? And I finally realized it was just to rub more out. And I see it for a long time, and they go, well, eventually they are just going to get a foothold in it in some way, so we should do something different. So what we did is we moved all these people over here, and now they can't get to it anymore because they don't even know who we were when we were away, because we weren't in the ABC anymore, and they were not the Babylonians. So it took a long time. We were going over this guy, and we just see this guy, and he's like talking to him, and he goes, you know what, I don't even know who these guys are anymore, and you don't see where is he? And he said, something's meeting right here. There's like 3 or 4 guys that should be here, and I don't see him anymore in this order. And they had him on record, and I was pissed. They go, this is the guy. He's doing this to us right now. How can we not be who he is? And they finally knew it. They went to this one they saw, and they go, yeah, he knew what it was. And then they said, yeah, I can't believe he's already ahead of us. This is crazy. And they go, he must have seen something we never saw before. And he says, yeah, well, I mean, it's like that because he's not trying to be exactly where he's trying to stand off the side so we can get a better vantage of what we see. Here's the thing. We're playing this, and we go through it, and it's pretty good. So we don't like it as much as the other ones. You know, it's okay. People still pick this one up. It's fine. And so it sold pretty good for a little bit, but only in JP, and they didn't want to release it outside in the U.S. for whatever reason. No, that's fine. It's not important anyways now. So they did this, and eventually it got picked up by somebody, and he brought a few copies over, and they're like, yeah, it's okay, but it's pretty much garbo, and everybody will just buy it just because they have the other two. And he goes, yeah. So we were looking at this concept we had about making this big one where it's like 5 or 6 of them. He goes, no, let's not do this because we don't want this to interfere with the things we see it. He goes, yeah, okay, let's just do a different game. When we came up with Mario 3, and they were like, yeah, this is pretty good, let's do that. So the whole thing about Mario is like you just take him a game, and you're like, yeah, we put Mario on it. He's like, yeah. So it takes a while, but you know, eventually it looks pretty good, and we go to, yeah, let's do this, and it was a good game. So we're finally at the end of this thing right here now, and we're about to sit, and we go, you know what? How about we don't, and we just see walking around, and we just do this for a while, because I'm not comfortable with the way we see this. He goes, yeah, that's fine, let's do this. So we're running through all these details, and we go, you know, let's be here, here, and here, we'll just switch up so we don't see what we see. So I'm back on this coast, I'm cutting all these fish like I used to, it's just stupid, and you don't understand how it's not a job. And I'm going through this thing for a long time, and I go, you know what? I must not be this. He says, I have to be this for the exact reason I am not there, but I don't have to. So I'm going to go there once or twice a week and just check shit out. I'm not going to be incognito, but I'm not exactly going to be up in front like, you know, trying to stand out either, which is the way I see. And so we go, and we see this way, and we go, hey, this is pretty good. And we started doing this. And then about a year later, this guy comes and he goes, you know what, we should stop doing these things. And so he's looking around, and it's fine. Hey, why aren't we doing this anymore? And he goes, you know what, we decided to do this one instead. And he says, why are we doing this one now? He says, because that one has like a crybaby at it. He goes, oh yeah, I can see that, that's the issue. So here's the thing. When they find out we didn't like that guy, they were looking at us in some weird way. And we're looking around, we're trying to figure it out. And he goes, you know what? He might see. And they go, oh man, if he sees this really, really bad. He goes, yeah, that ain't good. So we're talking to the guy now. We're just like, yeah, shit's going on with bullshit. So we know pretty much he knows what's going on now. And we just know, you know, we're just not that close to him. So for a while it bugged me. And then I realized, you know what? It doesn't matter either way because at the end of the day, we'll know when we know. I don't know how to tell you this, but this isn't the same person's. I was here one time in 1894, and I was like, hey, I was just dropping in to check on things, and I go, you know what, I'm going to add this, this, and this. And I added them, and I came back like a year later just to grab my file because I forgot something. I go, you know what, here it is. So I'm looking through these things, and I seen that 68 books disappear, 68 books are added, they're different. And I go, okay, I need to run file checks on this. And so I'm doing all this extra computer stuff. No one's around, no one can get up here. I'm in on the compartment upside down. I'm floating half of the way because there's no oxygen. We're in an oxygen tank. Taking a few hours out of my day to do this bullshit. And I'm like, hey, here we are. Here we are. So I'm adding all these things to my inventory agency. And so, you know what? This is stuff, but I'm going to get it, so it will be okay in the end. But this way I have a perfect storage problem. So I hook up this little storage drive. Now, you know, this isn't good enough. So I call someone and have them send me one through the Farner, and I go all the way to the Farner, which is the far end of the ship, the only one that's working. And I go over here and I go, okay, here we go. And I put it in there. I'm like, all right, do the thing, and it compiles it perfectly. I'm upset at this point in time because I shouldn't have compiled. I said something was in here before that's not in here now. Now something's in here that wasn't in here before. So there's something going up and there's something going down, and something is going on. I said, you know what? At least I got this perfect backup. So I'm about to go to see this guy. And I said, this game will be stupid. It will only cover the one subject. The subject is going to be Quistabut. If you know exactly what I'm talking about, you know exactly who this is. And this is a guy who came from Camus, and he walked over to Leabuka, and he says, I am the king to it. And they said, you ain't meant nothing. You better get the fuck out of here before we fuck on you. And he said, you know what? It was who they were. Because he does one thing these guys see, which is switch around the books, so it's who he is. I can't think of anyone else that ever did this in the history of the sea. I go, there has to be someone else. And you know what? I just keep coming up with a blank. It